Hello, everyone. You're very welcome to the Thursday edition of the Man United Agenda. It's the dynamic duo with you today, so we have plenty to get our lips around and chat about. Hello, everyone. You're very welcome to Thursday's edition of the Man United Agenda. It's 24 hours since that disastrous Champions League fixture where we are all but out. I won't dwell on the past, but Mr. B, I was out earlier and it is absolutely bleeding Baltic out there.
It's freezing. It's been cold all day. But yeah, look, my mood hasn't changed, Rebel, to be fair. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't at the time, yeah, I was peed off, but I just want if we're gonna do anything, if we're not gonna go through, go out. It's as simple as that. I'd rather we just finish bottom and take all of the newspaper blittering the blitzing that we will get if we do finish bottom of the group. And just play out for the rest of the season. It's going to be about building for next season. I said the squad players who don't get games because we don't have the European fixtures. It's just the way it goes.
Very true, Mr. B. Now, it didn't make the cut for the agenda tonight, but there's two ex-players flapping their gums
Oh God.
regarding various bits and pieces surrounding Manchester United. And one of them is the former goalkeeping great, Peter Schmeichel. Now, you would have assumed that he would have been inputting on Mr. Onana and his performance, but no, he was questioning Anthony Martial's introduction onto the field and what the actual point of it was.
Okay. Oh. Well, we know Hoyland was just coming back from injury. To be fair, but look, he might have been able to play both of them. I don't know. It makes no difference because the problem's not scoring goals now. It's the goals we're giving away at the other end. So Marshall and Hoyland swap for swap, fine, fair enough. It was done, but the issues are a lot further back at the moment. To be fair, Rebel.
Very true. Now, I won't go into what Mr. Scholes had to say, but there's various bits and bobs in it, and a lot of them are pointing fingers. But as some of you might know, the legendary singer Shane MacGowan died today. Another one of Ireland's finest musical exports, known for his song Fairy Tale New York. So when you hear that come out over the radio over the coming weeks, uh, you'll be able to fondly remember him. And I think there's a campaign to finally get that song as a Christmas number one. Even though it has been a staple of Christmas music, it hasn't reached the accolade of number one in the charts as yet. But
All right.
Mr. B,
Sorry. Um, am I the only one who doesn't know who this guy is? Sorry, I know Rebel was talking to me backstage, and I'll have to hold up my hand and say I have no idea who this guy is. Is it only me? And look, we see Zoe's in the house. We see DK Wilson's in the house, and I saw somebody else. Vincent, we see you, man. We see you. Sorry about cutting you off, Rebel. Back to you, my friend.
no, you actually were doing the same thing that I was going about to do, was say hello to everyone. Um, And the boys of the NYPD choir were singing Galway Bay, and the bells were ringing out because we have to get into our agenda for tonight. So, a few little stories doing the rounds in the media today. First, what the main headline grabber was Fabrizio Romano speaks to Ten Hag and contract situations. Is Varane's exit looming? They talk about Casemiro and his future. A double swoop by Juventus for Messrs Sancho and Van der Beek, and the centre back search reinforcements continue as a person that is likened to Najama Vidic enters the fray of discussion. So we will throw that one into the mix as well. And I just want to say hello to Black Bolt as I spotted him arriving in the corner of my screen. But Mr. B, any of those topics wetting the lips a bit and getting your appetite flowing?
You know what? I probably would have gone Ten Hag last, to be fair. But let's do him in order. Let's do him in order. Bath time. Let's do him in order.
Bathtub around, is he?
Sorry, Rebel. Oh God, sorry. You know what? I'm so used to just having bath time on this, just remote control. Rebel. Apologies, my friend. Apologies.
Yeah. Even though, by the sounds of it, his bathtub is quite spacious, so I wouldn't mind having the bathtub that Bad Time has. But do you know what? Let's skip Tenag and we'll come back to it at the end. We'll start with this one.
What we got?
Ten Hag drops Varane again. Is his exit imminent? So United boss Erik Ten Hag last started Varane in their Champions League loss against FC Copenhagen. Varane now finds himself behind Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire on the picking order amid claims of bust up between manager and former Real Madrid star. A piece by the Daily Mail claimed that the relationship between Varane and Ten Hag has completely broken down. The Dutch coach has previously fallen out with Cristiano Ronaldo, Jadon Sancho, and it looks like Varane is the latest to draw his ire. With January transfer window fast approaching, Varane could leave Old Trafford in search of game time. The four-time Champions League winner surely wants to play regular and would be frustrated by the coach's decision to leave him on the bench. Varane has been linked with moves away from the Red Devils and could find a sweet landing spot with his illustrious CV. The former Lens centre-back is reportedly a target for Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich, while there's also interest in the Saudi Pro League for him. Any thoughts, Mr. B?
I I still don't understand why he's not playing. I understand he's made a couple of mistakes. I do get it, and he probably hasn't been on top form this season. But if you look at the side he's played on and who he's up against, then I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. If there external pressure, internal pressure to do it, I have no idea. I think it sounds like the rift started when he picked Johnny Evans in a game. I think it was the Manchester derby. So it sounds like there was maybe rumours of a slight misunderstanding from there, and obviously it's escalated because he hasn't had a sniff. So look, Varane's a proud man. If you look at the Bayern Munich are interested in him, so it's not like it's a low level. It's not like it's no disrespect to Leipzig or a Munchen Gladbach, mid level. Bayern Munich are a top tier team, so it's a weird one to me, Rebel. I don't understand it, and the fact that Ten Hag saying he's a stubborn guy. I understand, and the decisions that he made obviously with Ronaldo, I agreed with. Sancho, I agreed with. This one, look, we'll see. We'll see. Is he using him to fund another player move? Who knows? But this is a weird one, Rebel. Come on, talk to me. What you thinking?
Well, the one that seems to kind of track with me is he seems to be projecting through the top earners of the club and trying to move those contracts off the books. Now, Raphael Varane is a player that Ten Hag sought to, I suppose, make a mainstay in his defence next to Martinez. So, is the fall off in his levels of play so drastic that he's fallen behind the pecking order of a 36-year-old Johnny Evans, who was bought for the purposes of sitting on the bench and providing deep cover in the event of an injury catastrophe? There's something amiss there.
Mm.
Whether or not it's to do with his fitness and that there's something hanging around, or whether there's just a breakdown in relations that has become untenable, but because of the consummate professional that Varane is, he's keeping his beak shut, sitting on that bench, and will look to shift on at the first opportunity, aka January. I just find it bizarre, though, that if he is fit, that you would not utilize him until the time he goes outside the door, because it doesn't make sense.
No, look, Rebel, as I said at the beginning of it, it makes no sense to make. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But look, we'll see what happens. It's a strange one. There has been some strange decisions going on, but this is one of the stranger ones to me. To be fair, um, yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Few interesting comments, Mr. B, coming in. Reggie suggesting that the first thing that needs to be done is the mold that's leaking all these stories from in-house needs to be taken out to the firing squad.
Um, did we ever find out? When we thought it was Sancho and what's the goalie, Henderson.
Yeah,
Sancho, all right, isn't here, so it could well be Sancho's boys. But look, things only get leaked after we lose a game. Have you noticed? Bad news always comes out after we lose a game. So I think these people have probably had the information already, and they just wait. They just wait. They can't do it when we win. There's no point. So when we lose, they can throw the disinformation out. But this is going to be time where we as fans need to back the manager. To be fair, the decisions that he makes, and try to cut out the outside noise.
very true. Zoe Media House is after climbing into bed with Solo and saying, "Bring back Fred." And Reggie is also saying us that from what he's seen, he's trying to scare the younger players to not go out of line once he transitions to a 25 and under team. And Black Bolt is saying De Gea gone, Casemiro, Sancho, and Varane next. This can't continue. And speaking of Casemiro, he's actually the next man up on the menu
Mm,
because, according to Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United are not, and I repeat, not desperate to
good.
sell Casemiro. So Manchester United are not desperate to offload Casemiro during the January window, and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano's exclusively told Give Me Sport why the Brazilian international is not interested in ending his spell at Old Trafford in order to take advantage of the lucrative riches on offer in Saudi Arabia. Romano understands that Casemiro is not particularly keen on heading to Saudi Arabia due to wanting to remain in Europe, meaning it'll be difficult for the big spenders to tempt him away from Manchester United in the coming months. The Italian journalist is also aware that the Red Devils are not eager to cash in, meaning a January transfer involving the that's right, five-time, to go with your four-time Champions League winner, has been described as having superstar quality by reporter Jonathan Northcroft. It is becoming less likely. At the moment, for Christian Eriksen, he says, I'm not aware of anything concrete. For Casemiro, the interest has always been from Saudi Arabia since last summer, but similar to Rafael Varane, Casemiro wants to stay in Europe, so they're not even negotiating. Now, from what I'm hearing, Manchester United are not desperate to get rid of Casemiro. My information is a bit different to other outlets. I'm hearing Manchester United are obviously expecting something different from Casemiro in terms of his performances, although he has been very unlucky with injury. But in general, they are not desperate to let him go in January. I don't think there's going to be something guaranteed. The interest is there, but there's no guarantee of any transfer. So it seems like they are putting their money behind the good ship Casemiro.
I'm glad. He was great for us last season. But he's a bad start to the season, and all of a sudden they're going to bid him. I understand if somebody's going to pay you 70 million because that's what we paid for him, and you can reinvest it straight away. Fine, I'll accept that. But Casemiro is going to be key to what we're doing throughout the rest of the season. All right, you know what? Maybe I'm blinded by last season's performances, and I know there's a few people who thought he dropped off towards the end, but the whole team dropped off. I think he did start the season unfit. And obviously it's come back to roost, but I think he's gonna be vital towards the end of the season, and we'll regret it if we don't have him at the club.
I tend to agree with you. I suppose the fear, that's amongst a lot of Man United fans at the moment is they watched what happened to Fabinho at Liverpool, and when he went
Mm.
from literally what Casemiro gave us last season to being an also ran in the squad the following season, the drop off was just unbelievable. It was nearly as fast as a Usain Bolt sprint over 100 meters. But I do want to say hello to the alumnus of the Man United agenda. Solo is in the building. He is the number one member of the Fred fan club, and was joined in that bed by Zoe today, who wants Fred back at Old Trafford. And Reggie has something interesting to say about Casemiro, Mr. B. Maybe he and Onana would benefit from the team switching to three at the back.
Reggie,
May-
Reggie, let me tell you something, Rebel. Reggie has been calling for three at the back for weeks. For weeks, he's been calling for three at the back. Whether he's gone 3-4, 3-4-2-1, or 3-4-1-2, yeah, he's all on for a switch. I'm not sure who would play Reggie. Who you going to have in there, by the way? But no, I'm sticking with what he wants. The four at the back, to be fair.
Very true. And DK Salinas, Casemiro staying can be invaluable to Mainu's development. And actually, that is a very good point because he's obviously going to be looking for a senior head to mold him into the player that we think he can be because he's showing early signs of being something special, isn't he, Mr. B? Kobe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And at that age, you know, they're going to be like a sponge. So, yeah, keep him around, Rebel. Keep him around. It's only going to benefit. But we say it's only going to benefit Kobe. I mean, there's probably going to be other players at the club looking up to him to what he does in certain positions as well. So, yeah, you have to keep these players. I'm not saying we keep them around for 10 years. And maybe come into the season, you think, okay, fair enough. You know, it may well be time to go. But I think he's still got an important part to play for us.
Very true. Jareel, yes, we will be coming to that.
Oh,
It's
we will be.
the main headline. So stay tuned with us. Please do like, share, subscribe. We do appreciate it. I see there's 15 of you in the chat. But I might throw this question back to the chat and we might touch on it at the very end. What is going on with Mason Mount and why is it not working out? Your thoughts in the comments and we will take a selection of them at the end of the show. But Mr. B, you're happy that Casemiro's staying. So players that are departing possibly are the aforementioned Jadon Sancho and Donny van der Beek. And I have put together two very unfortunate photos with the way that hand is going. So apologies in advance for that. But Juventus are keen on a swoop for the Man United duo in January. This is according to Team Talk. And both players are likely to leave Old Trafford in January because of the lack of opportunities that they have been receiving this season. Van der Beek has never settled at Manchester United Football Club, and the same could be said for the rather expensive Jadon Sancho. Before the winger threw his toys out of the pram and had a public spat with manager Erik ten Hag. As a result, Van der Beek wants to move for regular football, and Sancho's left with no choice after being banished from the first team squad. Speaking about his future, Van der Beek has gone on record saying, I am bouncing to play matches again. The manager is making different choices now. We have a big squad, and I am not the only one knocking on the door. We shall see what January brings. I need to start playing games very soon, if not at Manchester United, at another football club. I am ambitious. I have always been a lover of the game. I am absolutely crazy about football. I earn a good living at United, but money is not my motivation. I want to enjoy my work every day. So this is mainly Donny van der Beek's perspective on his football. The report also claims Juventus want to sign both these players in January, although the offer for Jadon Sancho is likely to only be a loan. Mr. B, is it viable to loan out one of these players? Do we have to secure a transfer fee of some level, even if it's a pittance?
We've done the pittance for the already, Rebel. We did the pittance and we were losing our mind. At the end of the day, Donny's a full international. We spent £40 million on him. 40 million. All right, doesn't seem like a lot compared to some players, but how much of that we're going to get back? And this is the problem with our club and the transfers that we did. Donny hasn't played, so I do expect both of them to go, but I don't expect to get a fee for any of them. To be fair, Donny can't have more than a year and a half at the most on contract-wise with us. So you know, and obviously the Jadon situation is the Jadon situation. I back the manager on that one. So I back him on a lot of things, to be fair. But yeah, I back him on that one. And if it's going to be Juve, then let it be Juve. I mean, ideally, if if he's going to go Saudi, then we'd probably get them to be able to pay, all of his wages. But wherever he goes, what we paid him 350. Nobody's going to be paying him more than a one or 150, absolute maximum. And then they're going to have to, for them to be paying 150 a week, they're going to have to believe that, he's going to come good for them. So I don't see us getting any money for anybody, Rebel. I think we'll get him off the wage bill and that'll be it.
Well, Jadon Sancho does number among the top 5 earners at Manchester United Football Club, so it would clear a considerable amount of wage capital should he move on. Now, the question is, and it's a bit of a tangent, we obviously had an expensive misstep in Jadon Sancho, and a lot of people are already currently drawing comparatives to the Brazilian Anthony and saying that we are going down the Sancho Mark II situation with him. Do you agree with that sentiment, or do you think that the performance he put in yesterday in a United shirt shows that he may come out of his slump?
He needs to start scoring and start assisting. Um, at the cold light of day, he's an attacking forward player who doesn't really attack too much, and he doesn't supply. So if those two things change, then yeah, he probably has got a long-term future at the club. But if he continues doing what he's doing, I think Ten Hag's going to get frustrated with it, and somebody will come in with a ridiculous offer for him. As in, when we say ridiculous, we're talking low ball offer. Again, we're not going to get the money that we paid for him, so it might have to be a thing where we cut our losses. But at the moment, we've got nobody to replace him in the squad. Anyway, all right, Rashford's been playing on the right, but how long is it before Rashford gets a place back on the left? I mean, Garnacho's scored 2 and 2, and he he's slowly improving every game. So it's a really really difficult one with Anthony Rebel, because yesterday I was laughing because I thought, oh look, he's gone past a couple of players. Oh, he's done this, he's done that, but if you look at what he did really for a wide man, it was just running the mill normal. But because it was Anthony, you tended to go, you tended to get a little bit more excited. Oh, he might do something, he might not do something, but no, doesn't do nothing. Look, a UK stranger saying Anthony needs to go. He's a complete waste of money. Yeah, he's not feeling him at all.
But interestingly, you mentioned Marcus Rashford and the fact that Garnacho seems to be saying, hang on a minute, you're not coming back over on the left side with the way that he's been playing. But we have all had reservations about certain players playing up the right hand side because it's clearly not where we get the best out of them. Your Bruno Fernandez's, your Rashfords have all gone out and done a stint out there. But we always felt that it was kind of like we need them on the pitch, but they didn't necessarily fit the role and maybe caused a few issues in the style of play that was trying to be put out there. So is it a case that if Garnacho locks down that left hand side and we look to address that right hand side with younger, cheaper alternatives under the auspices of a director of football in the long term, that even Sir Marcus Rashford, NBE, could find himself on the cold shoulder in due course?
Nah, I don't see that, Rebel. Ten Hag made it perfectly clear that he loves Marcus from the first day he come to the club. The fact that they all decided to pay him in their wisdom 375 grand a week, I think they'll keep him. Am I confident that he will score again this season? Yeah, but the numbers that he got this season now are beginning to look like a fluke, which is I'm really pissed off to say, to be fair. But look, it's going to be how he ends the season and not how he started. So maybe so the external and mental side of his game will sort itself out, because I know he's had a few personal issues over the last couple of weeks that maybe have been playing on his mind a bit. So you never know. You never know.
just go into the comments for a second. Anthony actually has been more of a hot button topic than Jadon Sancho. UK's Rangers saying to us he's a waste of money. Reggie is telling us that the issue with Anthony is the expectation and realization of what he needs to be at Manchester United is a bit too much at the moment. DK is telling us Anthony blew a couple of good chances at getting passes in the box. He needs to be more focused, trying to dribble around the defender. Zoe is telling us Anthony's like the kid that cheats on his school exam and isn't very smart. Oh, she's savage tonight, lads. She's savage. Black Bolt is telling us fantastic Eredivisie player. That is it. So he's not
No.
saying that he has the quality for the Premier League football. And Reggie is also saying maybe we should go back and get Zaha. What do you think of those? Oh Lord. But
Sorry, we could do a lot worse, I suppose, but no, forwards, not backwards.
speaking of moving forwards, as we know, Mr. B, the Manchester United campaign to find a new central defender is underway, and that list is growing in terms of the number of possible candidates. And today there's a new candidate after being brought into the mix, and it is claimed that he is very much akin to the legendary Najama Vidic in the way that he goes about his business. Now, we don't have our defensive coach today. He's listening to some fat lady singing opera on some stage show at the moment, and I think Bathtub is with him, but we won't cast any aspersions. But he's not a player now that I've ever heard of, but according to uh, reports, Manchester United Football Club are in very advanced talks to sign Genoa defender Radu Dragzun, according to Romanian publication Pro Sport. The Red Devils are looking to strengthen their squad in January after a challenging season and are prepared to make a significant financial effort to bring the 21-year-old who draws comparisons to Vidic to Old Trafford. Eric Ten Hag's side is said to be in advanced negotiations as Genoa is expected to hold out for the 30 million release clause for the 21-year-old defender. United had earlier been linked with other defenders like Kim Mi-jin, Pavard, Jean-Claire Talibo during the previous summer transfer window. Dragston is known for his play from the left centre-back role, and his aerial prowess could address United's issues in the defensive position this season. The 21-year-old has helped Genoa to just 3 clean sheets, along with registering an assist and a goal. So, given Manchester United's defensive struggles and the fact that obviously we were out the butcher for a significant part of the season, is looking to address the left side of the centre-back partnership something that Manchester United need to do? And do you think an unproven 21-year-old at 30 million represents how we should address that issue?
It's I get the age profile, and I understand what he's doing. Is this guy fast? Certain times you probably need to have a look and see. I mean, between now and the close of the window, we're going to get linked to a lot of players again. And the fact that we know that Varane is actually up for sale means that we are going to be linked with more than our fair share of defenders. Do you think Nice are really going to want to do business with us for Todibo in January when they're second in their league? You know, what sort of message does that send out to the Nice supporters about what Sir Jim's doing? You know, don't get me wrong. As I say, forget Nice. I don't care. Who cares? Who cares what their troubles are? But at the same time, conflict of interest there. You know, do we pay over the odds to get him? No, it's not something we want to do. Do you then loan him? Then who do they replace? And what happens if they drop off and finish outside the Champions League places? So these are things that they have to think about. I've never heard of him, Rebel, and I suppose this is the beauty of the transfer window and these names that are going to be linked with us now. I mean, what are you thinking? Obviously, you feel that it's going to be. We all thought it was going to be Maguire who was going to be going. It now looks like it's going to be Varane out the door. That drop off is going to be huge.
Well, Mr. B, you raise a very interesting point. Looking at the group of centre backs we have at the moment, outside of Martinez, it's nearly imperative to actually keep Harry Maguire at this point, given the state of Lindelof, Varane being moved on, and obviously Johnny Evans being subject to being close to retirement. But I suppose, like you, I don't know much about this defender, although I will have to learn more about this defender now that he's been linked with us. But given the profile of what we know that Vidic delivered on the pitch, is there a place in English football for that style of defending still? Or do we need somebody a bit more tactful that can use their strength but is also well capable of playing the ball?
Again, this is Styles. Is this a Ten Hag player, or is this a Mitchell stroke Ineos? What's his name? Bracefield signing. You know, these are the age profile probably means that it's probably them doing it, but these are the signings that excite me because we know nothing about them. You know, we haven't heard about them. We're gonna be doing, you know, a couple of signings that Liverpool have made. You know, I've gone under the radar, but they turn out to be exactly what the team needs. You know, so I would love us to sign a defender in January. I really, really, I'd like to sign a couple of players in January. And I said Tadibo seemed to be the one who everybody was talking about. But if it ends up being this guy here, I don't have a problem, you know. But you would like to think that they've done their work, they've done their due diligence a lot more than they have been doing.
Very true. The idea of a physical, imposing centre back does kind of warm cockles of my heart because I do like a player that can throw their weight around and put a bit of fear into opposing attackers. But he'll obviously time would tell if he does arrive in Premier League whether he is suited to the game there. And you made a very good point regarding Nice, Mr. B. If Ineos do complete their minority stakeholding, whenever that does take place, there's going to be a lot of questions over whether Ineos can continue to operate both clubs, whether or not they look to remove their interest from Nice in order to put their efforts into one big push on Manchester United Football Club. So going after their players is probably more than likely, as you said, going to be difficult, especially in a January transfer window. And it's in January that Manchester United need to lock down some
Mm.
problems. So I think you're right in that we will be looking further afield unless there's players on the books of Manchester United Football Club that can plug a few holes for Nice, where they would be saying, do you know what now? We'll plug this hole, we'll let this player go, and we'll try and sign maybe this guy ourselves in order to kind of fix the gap in doing the swap with Manchester United. But I would say any business with them as unlikely. Um, do we have any
Oh, you actually think business with Nice would be unlikely? Yeah, you don't think we'll do any deal with them this January?
I think it's highly unlikely, unless we're talking about trying to expedite moves where we're under time crunches and the medical reports that Nice hold on various players would be sufficient to cut some red tape in terms of moving deals along. It all depends on how quickly this facade with the takeover can be finally put to bed and allow business to be kind of pushed forward. But I think we will be looking at players outside the Nice pool, but could be in the Nice scouting reports in the January window. And that does bring us almost neatly to the main topic. However, I think there's a few comments we probably should hit. Uh, Reggie saying Fata was meant to be the new Messi. He now plays for Brighton on loan, mind you. Um, hasn't really shot the lights out, if I do remember correctly. He's got a few moments, but he's being kept at bay by the Irish wonder kid, Evan Ferguson, the likes of Matoma, and because you have to admit, Brighton's squad is quite spectacular. Black Bolt is telling us, I'm going to get abuse from Monday, but Varane is leaving. Maguire's still here. Madness, he says. And Zoe's still talking about Anthony. But it is time to come to the main event. So let me just take this down briefly, come back to the relevant slide, and pop this up from Fabrizio. Fabrizio Romano says Manchester United Football Club will not discuss new contract for Eric Ten Hag in 2023. Now, Mr. B, in the chat, you said to me, but you're rebel. There's only 4 weeks left in 2023. This is a bit of a misleading headline. But let's play it out anyway for the sake of the media report. Romano has claimed that Manchester United have yet to discuss the possibility of Eric Ten Hag receiving new contract at Old Trafford, with situations like new sporting director and CEO needing to be sorted out first. The journalist has said there's been no conversation surrounding the possibility of fresh terms for the Dutchman, and asked if Ten Hag could receive a new contract upon Ratcliffe's arrival. Romano had this to say: "At the moment, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, no conversation. So honestly, I have no idea at this stage. They don't discuss that. So at the moment, it is very early stages. So I think we have to wait and see. But it's not something they're going to be doing now or will do in December. These things are always discussed after you build the structure because you need to decide with the director and the CEO. So they clearly have some points to clear before mentioning the situation around Ten Hag contract. Now, Fabrizio has been suggesting that we are all but done with the Radcliffe purchase of a significant shareholding of Manchester United Football Club. But the fact that there doesn't even seem to be levels of support for Ten Hag being the man to hold the flag, and mentioning that they will discuss such matters once they have their structures in place, seems to suggest that the Ineos group are unsure that Ten Hag is the man to lead Manchester United Football Club going forward. And we saw other reports today that the Brighton manager is being looked at. Now, we all know the last time a Brighton manager moved, how much of a disaster that was for Chelsea Football Club. Some are putting the finger of blame at Todd Bowley's hands. But are you surprised by the fact that, given what's been suggested and Manchester United putting their structures in place, that Ten Hag isn't kind of high on their list of wanting to sort out?
Um, as I said, 4 weeks is 4 weeks, so we'll forget about that part of it. I think quite rightly, the thing that Man United tend to do is as soon as somebody has a good 4 weeks or 5 weeks, we give them a new contract. Let him, if he wants a new contract, let him earn it. He's still being paid. He's still in a job. Come the end of the season, what if we're 16th? Do they want to keep him? A manager who gets us finishing 16th place? Probably not. So, you have the discussions throughout between now and summer. And if he finishes in a position that satisfies the people above him, then he'll stay. If not, then I'm sure that they will have somebody else in place to replace him. I think Ten Hag's fantastic. Right now he can do no wrong. I'm backing every decision that he makes. A lot of them have been wrong. I'll hold up my hands and say that. Some of them are very, very hard to understand. I.e. the Varane situation that's going on at the moment. But you got to back your boys. You got to back your manager. I know there's a lot of people who thinks he's a complete waste of time. Granted, I understand that. They haven't seen a pattern of play. I understand that as well. But I think there was a lot of internal issues at the club going on that needed to be sorted out first. And maybe Ten Hag had to be dealing with too much of them. So Ineos coming in with Ratcliffe and these three boys who are going to take that load off. Doesn't have to worry about talking to this player's agent or that player's agent. He just comes and trains the players. I'm going to assume how it works is he gives them, they give him, he says what he wants and they give him a list of 5 or whatever. And then he says, I want him, and then they go out and get him. I'm hoping it's as simple as that. Maybe it won't be. Maybe I'm trying to oversimplify it, but I I don't see any issue with him not being offered a new contract. Rebel, you're gonna tell me something differently now, aren't you?
No, like I always think it's very easy to kind of point the finger of blame at your manager. It's a cycle that Manchester United Football Club has been doing for some time. And bearing in mind what Ralph Rangnick said about Manchester United Football Club and the disorganisation in the upper echelons, I think it's fair to say that we've tried to change our managers. We've had the same results in terms of good season, fall off. It's now time to look at how we've been identifying players, the amount that we've been paying in transfer fees for those players, the amount in wages that we are offering to get those players to sign a contract, and I suppose our structures in terms of our fitness, our coaching, etc., and just take it back to level one and rebuild from the foundation. But I do think there's quite a bit of interest with regards to Eric Ten Hag in the comments. So, Mr. B, I'm going to hit a few of them, and maybe you might give your input on them as we go along. So, Reggie's saying Eric Ten Hag doesn't need a new contract. Right now, he needs new staff members. So, he's
Mm.
saying the coaching isn't sufficient. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah, he needs help. I think he needs help. I'm not going to say it's insufficient, but he definitely needs help.
He's also saying he wouldn't change the manager. He supports and gives him everything he needs in terms of working equipment and staff. And then you get down to transfer money. Black Bolt is telling us, in fairness, Eric Ten Hag hasn't gotten the players he initially requested. It's always been the B and C choices. And
True,
Ian
true.
and Dian Blogs is telling us, I personally feel he is showing that the way we would be playing, but injuries are causing the issues, and the best way to shut media up, as well as fans who are against him, is to give him a new contract. So Dian is saying, given the contract, put the seal of approval behind him, and keep the boo boys in the media silent. Any thoughts on that?
I don't think it stops the boo boys. To be fair, us giving him a new contract, but it probably sends a message to the players who are probably or probably feeling, they'll wait for that 6 months when his contract's up. They give him a new contract, then they know bloody hell, it's either his way now or the highway. It might be a thing where they all choose the highway. I mean, Sancho, there's rumors saying that he's just sticking around. He doesn't want to get sold because he's sticking around for when Ten Hag gets sacked. So me as a manager, you'd be getting rid of that. You don't really want that in there. So uh, yeah,
That is that's fair. Mr. B, there hasn't been many comments on Mount, but from what I can see, there's three. Zoe saying Mount can go off to West Ham or Villa. She's not a Mount fan. Black Bolt is not talking about Mount. He's talking about a Monday, what haunting his dreams, and Harry Maguire. DK Wilson is saying they wager that Mount plays this weekend, and Reggie saying Mount is the ultimate Bruno replacement. Look at it that way. So
nah,
anything
he's not. I don't think Mount's a Bruno replacement. I don't think he put it for that role, and if that's the case, then Mount's not going to play.
that's fair. We've covered quite a bit of ground today, Mr. B. We've hit the main goings-ons in the greater unwashed news and media. We had a hint of transfer deadline day speculation. We've had a hint of takeover speculation. We've discussed the futures of players, but we're back to the business of football tomorrow. Actually, before we do, I want to say hello, Alpha Eagle. First time I've seen you in the comments, but Eric Ten Hag is the right man for the job. But as usual, we'll continue to go through the same cycle, manager after manager. The Glazers destroy players and managers. Look at Old Trafford training facilities, etc. So he's laying the hammer down heavily on us repeating our mistakes, and we deserve better. Saying it's the 1st of December in a few hours. Our priority signing is done. F all.
Give
Oh
him
Lord.
time. I'm sure his contract was 4 years. Look, he's still got, yeah, he's still got time. I'm not sure where he fits in. to all the way that Ten Hag's got them playing at the moment. I would always say Mount over McTominay. But McTominay's scoring goals, so I'm not even sure where obviously the priority signing fits into the team.
True. It it'll remain to be seen, I suppose. But we are back to the business of football tomorrow, Mister B. We'll be sampling the preview show for the Newcastle United game. Are we going to be taking out the chipper van as well on Friday night?
Um, I think we might be. I got stood up last week. We'll see how the look. We'll see how the day goes, Rebel. We will see how the day goes. The takeaway may well be there. It may well not be there. I know obviously we'll have the preview, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to the Newcastle game on Saturday. I didn't think I would have been, but I'm really looking forward to the Newcastle game on Saturday. You're away. You're away at your pops over the weekend, are you?
No, I will be hitting out for the town and having my Christmas party tomorrow. So I will be sitting on yonder couch behind me on Saturday, pondering the meaning of life as the fruits of my labours on tomorrow night come home to roost. I do understand that Newcastle is a late game. We are on one of those special 8 o'clock Saturday
Mm,
kickoffs that Sky introduced us, was it 2 seasons ago?
yeah.
So whether or not Rebel is alive enough to do a reaction show, he may be here, he may not be here. We shall see. But Mr. B, I thoroughly enjoyed our blitz through the wider headlines today. I hope you in the comments also had a bit of a laugh with us. I have been Rebel. He has been Mr. B. But tonight it is hasta la vista, and we will be back.